Hi, everyone. I am trying to get us ready to do another book because I'm going to go roll back, like I'm backwards way all the way through it because I didn't have it set up when I started. All right. So today we are going to, I'm kind of a mess here. I'm going to read a book and it's one of my favorite. This is like one of my favorite books. And it's called And Tango Makes Three. And it's an ASPCA Henry Birch Award, Children's Book Award winner. And I just wanted to show you, we're going to kind of go backwards a little bit today. I wanted to show you the back cover. And this is just like what people say about the book. It is one of our banned books. I think you'll be able to tell why. But it says, A Little Miracle for Children, funny, tender, and a true story. In truth, the story of Tango will delight young readers and open their minds. That was by John Lithgow. He's an actor. It's by Justin Richardson. I have a little glare there. Let's talk about Justin Richardson. MD is what that says. That means he's a medical doctor. He's assistant professor of psychiatry at Columbia and Cornell, and a co-author of Everything You Never Wanted Your Kids to Know About Sex, but were afraid they'd ask. And so he's been featured in New York Times and Today in 2020 and NPR's Morning Edition. Peter Parnell is a playwright whose most recent play, QED, was produced on Broadway. He was co-producer of the television show The West Wing, and he lives in New York City. And Henry Cole is an extremely versatile artist who has illustrated numerous picture books, including The Sissy Duckling by Harvey Fierstein. He lives in Washington, D.C. So these are our authors and illustrators. And here you can see two of our penguins. I do want to read the author's note. It says, all of the events in this story are true. Roy and Silo are called chinstrap penguins because of the delicate line of black feathers that loops under their beaks, as if to hold a hat in place. After years of living side by side in the Central Park Zoo, they discovered each other in 1998, and they have been a couple ever since. Tango, their only chick, was born from an egg laid by another penguin couple named Betty and Porky. That couple had often hatched their own eggs, but they had never been able to care for more than one egg at a time. In 2000, when Betty laid two fertile eggs, Rob Gramsey decided to give Roy and Silo and Silo and one of those eggs a chance to become a family. If you go to Central Park Zoo, you can see Tango and her parents splashing about in the penguin house, along with their friends, including Nipper, Squawk, Charlie, Wasabi, and Pee-wee. Wasabi is a fun name for a penguin. There are 42 chinstrap penguins in the Central Park Zoo and over 10 million in the world. There's only one Tango. All right. This is the book cover, and here's your award stamp. And Tango Makes Three, again by Justin Richardson and Peter Parnell, and it's illustrated by Henry Cole. I wanted to show you the inside of the front flap. It says, in the zoo, there are all kinds of animal families, but Tango's family is not like any of the others. All right, so I just wanted to show you this cover, inside the cover art here. This is illustration of the Central Park Zoo. It's really iconic, and maybe you'll get to go there someday. Wouldn't that be cool if you could go and see the zoo someday? Okay, it says, in the middle of New York City, there's a great big park called Central Park. Children love to play there. It has a toy boat pond where they can sail their boats. It has a carousel to ride on in the summer and an ice rink to skate on in the winter. So much to do. Best of all, it has its very own zoo. Everyday families of all kinds go to visit the animals that live there. But the children and their parents aren't the only families at the zoo. The animals make families of their own. There are red panda bear families with mothers and fathers and furry red panda bear cubs. There are monkey dads and monkey moms raising noisy monkey babies. There are toad families and toucan families and cotton-top tamarin families too. Here's another picture. My toucan's kind of in the middle of my binding here. Toucans and birds and the monkeys. Right? Isn't it beautiful? All right. And in the penguin house, there are penguin families. Every year, at the very same time, the girl penguins start noticing the boy penguins, and the boy penguins start noticing the girls. When the right girl and the right boy find each other, only, oh, I'm sorry, find each other, they become a couple. So you have different couples here. All right. Two penguins in the penguin house were a little bit different. One was named Roy and the other was named Silo. Roy and Silo were both boys, but they did everything together. They bowed to each other and they walked together. They sang to each other and swam together. Wherever Roy went, Silo went too. They didn't spend much time with the girl penguins, and the girl penguins didn't spend much time with them. Instead, Roy and Silo wound their necks around each other. Their keeper, Mr. Gamzee, noticed that the two penguins, and he thought to himself, they must be in love. Roy and Silo watched how the other penguins made a home. So they built a nest of stones for themselves. Every night, Roy and Silo slept together, just like the other penguin couples, in their little nest of stones. And every morning, Roy and Silo woke up together. But one day, Roy and Silo saw that the other couples could do something they could not. The mama penguin would lay an egg. She and the papa penguin would take turns keeping the egg warm until finally it would hatch. And then there would be a baby penguin. Roy and Silo had no egg to sit on and keep warm. They had no baby chick to feed and cuddle and love. Their nest was nice, but it was a little empty. One day, Roy found something that looked like what the other penguins were hatching, and he brought it to their nest. It was only a rock, but Silo carefully sat on it, and sat, and sat. When Silo got sleepy, he slept. And when Silo was done sleeping and sitting, he swam, and Roy sat. Day after day, Silo and Roy sat on the rock. But nothing happened. Then Mr. Gamzee got an idea. He found an egg that needed to be cared for, and he brought it to Roy and Silo's nest. Roy and Silo knew just what to do. They moved the egg to the center of their nest. Every day they turned it, so each side stayed warm. Some days Roy sat while Silo went for food. Other days it was Silo's turn to take care of the egg. They sat in the morning, and they sat at night. They sat through lunchtime, and swim time, and supper. They sat at the beginning of the month, and they sat at the end of the month, and they sat all of the days in between. Until one day they heard a sound coming from inside their egg. Peep, 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 it said. Roy and Silo called back, squawk, squawk. Peep, peep, answered the egg. I love this illustration. Look at the egg. You can see every bit. It starts a little crack, and then it gets a little bigger and bigger and bigger. And it keeps cracking, and suddenly a tiny hole appeared in the egg shell. And then, see the next page. Crack! Out came their very own baby. She had fuzzy white feathers and a funny black beak. Now Roy and Silo were fathers. We'll call her Tango, Mr. Gramsci decided, because it takes two to make a tango. Roy and Silo taught Tango how to sing for them when she was hungry. They fed her food from their beaks. They snuggled her in their nest at night. Tango was the very first penguin in the zoo to have two daddies. Look at all the penguins. Soon, Tango grew strong enough to leave the nest. Roy and Silo took her for a swim, just like all of the other penguin families. And all the children who came to the zoo could see Tango and her two fathers playing in the penguin house with the other penguins. Hooray, Roy! Hooray, Silo! Welcome, Tango, they cheered. At night, the three penguins returned to their nest. There they snuggled together, and like all the other penguins in the penguin house, and all the other animals in the zoo, and all the other families in the big city around them, they went to sleep. Isn't that a beautiful story? Ah, I love this. And I love the illustrations. And Tango makes three. Wow, I hope you guys really enjoyed this book. Keep posted. I'm going to read you some more band books soon. But this is a great book. Maybe you could read it. It's that kind of, it's getting to be Christmas time of the year, and I don't know about you guys, but our zoo at the St. Louis Zoo has penguin walks sometimes in the winter, and sometimes you might get to see the penguins walking outside of their little penguin house. So I will see you guys later. Until